It's like just a rock floating. That's like an earth sign here not being stable, going from house to house, not having a stable situation in their life or something like that. That can be devastating for them. That's devastating. That's almost like a rock in space. And then there's no air in space. So we know living on earth, we know thinking and communicating, air, and we know thinking and practicality, common sense. We know that makes the most sense living here on earth. So when you got too much fire or too much water, you're going to be seen as erratic on earth. You're going to be seen as a chaotic person. You're going to be seen as a person who don't logically or rationally think of things. A person who live in a fantasy world. You're going to be seen as a person who's living in their own world. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, let's go to the fire and water. Water is in that realm and this realm at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's clear. Yeah, you can kind of physically touch it, physically see, but you really don't know what it is. It's here and there. You see, at the same time. Fire could only be here and could only be there. It can't be here and there at the same time unless someone keep it heated. So fire signs can't even stay in reality unless they're inspired by something in reality. So if a fire sign is inspired by something that they want, a person, place, or thing, or inspired by a talent, or inspired by something that they can externally put out, person, place, or thing, then that's like AKA keeping a fire lit, a campfire. That's keeping a fire here on earth. But if it's too much water going on, or too much air going on, or too much dust going on, pollen on it, people stepping on a fire, that's almost like too much water. That's like throwing too much emotions into how you feel. So instead of expressing how you feel, you're too busy wrapping yourself up in how other people may feel or how you feel about it. That's putting a fire out by throwing too much water on that campfire, basically. Then let's say air. Too much air. Yeah, air can make it spread. That's like subtle air. But if it's too much air that'll blow the fire out, that's like this air sign making this fire think too much about expressing themselves. So a fire might want to go express something spontaneous or do something creative, and then you got a person here making you think too much before you do what you do. Oh, but you better not do that, do this. But if you do that, it's just too many ideas. That's blowing the fire out. Basically, that's blowing the campfire out. Then when you got too much earth or too much pollen, and it's like nothing can stay lit because it's too earth. Like the tree bark is too thick, and it's not light enough or not enough paper around, not enough light earth stuff around to keep lit. So it's this, when stuff is on fire, it goes out fast. That's like a representation of earth, people stepping out of fire or piling too much stuff on the fire, for it's smothering the fire. The fire can't spread or catch fire is the spread. So that's like a fire person trying to express something, and an earth person trying to say, but you can't do that. If you do that, this gonna happen. If you do, like, putting a lot of roadblocks in front of that fire, putting a lot of stuff over that fire. You see what I'm saying? So that's like when you bring a fire here. And when you bring a water here on earth, people could feel it. Yeah, they feel you. They empathize with you. That's like water, because people could go sit in the tub. People could go sit in the shower. People could go to the pools. People could go. So yeah, so ultimately, water signs on earth, when you bring them emotions, yeah, people can feel you, people can emotionalize with you, but once you do it too much, what happens? You could drown under too much water. You go into the deep end and you can't swim. If the tub get too full, it'll overflood. You run a shower too long, the water, the heat gonna run out, and it's gonna be cold water. You know what I'm saying? So that's like forms of representations of bringing too much water here. Don't flood the earth. Don't create a grand flood. You see what I'm saying? So then that's when people start thinking, oh, it's not. I feel you, but it ain't rational. It ain't logical to do that. So that's kind of like draining the water, or draining somebody's tub, or cutting off their shower. If you're a water sign, you know what I'm saying? And that's like if they bring that onto earth, and then an earth sign is telling you, yeah, I feel you, but that don't make sense. You should put this in. That's like some earthly draining the water, or air coming to the water. Like when water brings too much emotions and feelings, and then they get in contact, and they bring it on earth and get in contact with an air sign. Air sign is throwing all this air at you, ideas and communication styles, and why you shouldn't feel that way, and give you ideas on how you should feel. That's basically, it can create a hurricane, Because when you trying to push your water this way, throw your emotional weight this way, your emotional intention this way, how you feel, expressing your feelings this way, this air sign is trying to make you think this way, or trying to make you think this way about your emotions. So 9 times out of 10, if this was an ocean and you're a water sign and you trying to blow this way, that's like the air trying to blow your water this way, blow you this way, and blow you that way. And if it get too volatile, it can become a hurricane to the point that y'all lash out at each other, the air and water signs. But for the most part, that's like messing up the water, moving the water in other directions, so the water take different shapes. So when the water is in this realm and that realm, it's shaped this realm and it's shaped the behind the scenes realm. So it's creating emotions and feelings and resentment towards people, but it's also expressing resentment and grudges towards people. So not only do you see the water flow, you feel the water flow also. That's like, you get what I'm trying to say? This shit is real. You know what I'm saying? So that the water blow out the way. You know what I'm saying? Now water and fire come into contact and they're on earth. They're going to clash with their fantasies a lot because they're both putting each other out. Because they're both feeling in certain ways, but they're trying to argue the way they're feeling. No, but you shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't express that feeling. And then the fire sign is looking at the water like, no, but you shouldn't conceal that feeling. You see what I'm saying? And then that can become volatile. But ultimately, when water and fire try to represent themselves on earth, it becomes illogical. And ultimately, from an Archangel Uriel realm of reality point of view, when I look down on the earth and see that's what's actually going on, I can understand this is part of the reason why, if you live on earth, the population on earth is going to gear towards more left brain attributes than right brain attributes, because the world and 3D density existence that they live in is geared towards left brain attributes, because that's what consume the reality that they're in. And like I said, we want to go back to the Palladians, not the Lemurians, they ain't got nothing to do with this part, but the Palladians, reptilians, and forms of lizards here that represent reptilians' family lineage. They're part of they wanted to orchestrate this snake pit in an external way. They wanted to take the heaven that they had inside of them and put it out external before they was dense, super dense, that they could do this in the yin realm and then create worlds how we supposed to be doing it now, but we too dense. They took their inner heavens and what they wanted to control, created it externally. Right? Now, Earth, the snake pit you live in, is based off these terms. So, just to even live here accordingly, you have to gear more towards left brain things. But the more and more you activate your right brain, the more and more you're going to activate fear in this world. Or people looking at you as weird or psychopathic or something like that. Now, how to know you a left brain? Now, you need both to live in this existence. Because this is crazy. You got all kind of beings that's playing on both sides. They playing on the right brain and the left brain. And if you're not left brain and right brain complete, it could be all bad. Now here's how you can check out in your chart if you're more left brain, if you're more right brain. Look at all your planets and just count how many you have in water and fire and how many you have in earth and air. Now me, I have now when you do this, don't count cusp. Don't count cusp. Just count it as the sign is in. For an example, I'm gonna run down mine. My ascendant is in Leo, fire. My sun is in Aries, fire. My moon is in Sagittarius, fire. My Mercury is in Aries, fire. Now, that's right brain. So I got 4 right brain. Now, my Venus is in Gemini, that's air. My Mars is in Capricorn, that's earth. My Jupiter is in Taurus, that's earth. My Saturn is in Capricorn, that's earth. My and you don't really have to do Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, because that's your whole generation. You know what I'm saying? But if you wanna add, that's as far as your generation. Let's just stop at Saturn though, and ascendant to Saturn, and Saturn is in Capricorn. So what's the back? I got 4 fire, 4 earth. 4 right brain planet. I got 4 right brain elements, planets, and 4 left brain elements, which is earth. Now, ultimately, that makes me a complete blend between the right and left brain. So a lot of concepts that I be having that's right brain, I kind of know how to understand it from a left brain point of view. And a lot of left brain external things that I see, I know how to tie it to right brain type things and spirituality and how that came here from the place that we can't see. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately I'm a right left brain type of person. Now when you go in your chart and do the same thing I just did, if you got more planets in fire or water, then that's going to make you a more right brain person. If you got more planets in earth or air, that's going to make you a left brain person. If you got a complete blend between the two, then that's going to make you a balanced out person. Now, not to say if you're more on the right side or more on the left brain, this makes you bad. That just means if you're more right brain, you have to learn. You have to learn some left brain shit, or you're not going to be able to get from point A to point B effectively or efficiently in this life. If you're too left brain, you got to learn how to incorporate some right brain things, or you're not going to be able to get from point A to point B effectively because you're not going to be creative or have a big enough imagination to add on your smartness. You see what I'm saying? So that's ultimately what that is, you know, and that's how you differentiate the conflation between the right and left brain and yin and yang. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn,